both love, and we're starting off quick and fast here, and this is definitely something that we are going to be expecting with both of these teams. Some interesting compositions, and here T1w already bringing out the Bastion Orisa composition on this map.
Yeah, if you're new to Chinese contenders, T1w last season's champions, but though there's the strongest team in the region, they're also one of the teams that's willing to go one of the more unorthodox compositions and use some, interesting composition in terms of character picks. LGD, on the other hand, this is actually only the second time that they've ever played against T1w, and this is the first time that they've ever been in a group together here in Contenders China, so this is an opportunity for them to prove themselves against the best team in the region.
And remember, Rapture, last season in the next cup, it was LGD who broke the win streak of T1w after they went undefeated in the regular season here. And Rookie getting a couple of nice kills. Even though T1w won that first fight, they still weren't able to translate that onto the point, and LGD manages to get that first cap.
And we're already seeing LGD with a great start here, with a roster that has been around this core since Season 3, where T1w, they're the exact same team as they were last season. A lot of their players have been on the team for 4 seasons in a row, some of them 3. Molenron and Silver 3 have been on the team for all 4 seasons. Assassin, Illusion, Waya, all on the team for the last 3 seasons. T1w, one of the most tenured teams in the region. While LGD, they've only had this core for about 2 seasons or so. They're still kind of in flux. It's an opportunity for them to also show that they can stick together with a team that's a little more new, more recent than T1w's roster.
And with this composition that T1w started out with, now they made the full swap over to the Winston Goats composition, and now they're in such a big hole when it comes to their ultimate charge. If you look across the board, LGD has so many more ultimates to work with than T1w will. Waya and Illusion have done a very good job of farming up their ultimates very quickly, the support ultimates, because they're going to need it for this Graviton that Rookie has right now.
Yeah, Rookie with that Graviton and high charge as well. 56% for LGD. There's the dive. Assassin falling back for T1w, trying to stay on the point, have a group coalesce towards that wall, but Rookie will get the pick. And still sitting on that grab, still sitting on the high charge, sitting outside of the point, actually not being contested much at all. Now Rookie gonna dive right in, gets that corner Graviton, gonna suck everyone in. For T1w, but no quick kills, only Kenobi finds one before the grab went down. Secret finds one on Molenron with a nice headshot. Wanreally also getting on the board on Waya. The High-B will cut that up, a kill on Rookie. But LGD, though, still holding very strong, a great start against T1w.
And this is 87% Rapture for LGD, and T1w, they have the ultimates to try and contest here, but no support ultimates. That's the biggest thing. They need to get to the point right now. 95%, they need to make it there. They have this Riley from Molenron that they need to use aggressively to get onto the point.
Yeah, and T1w does have the ultimate advantage here, and they have at least 2 tank ultimates to go in and try and be stocky on this point, try and have a lot of sustain. LGD, though, finally gets 3 as well. They have the rally down from Kenobi. Tanjo also dropping down that Primal Rage, trying to keep this turret up. It will get booped off into the pit. And Assassin goes down, and now we have finally that kill feed going green here. T1w will be on the board at 99%. LGD does get stopped from the 100-0 shutdown, and now T1w finally, they've caught their feet. They got a little bit of a download. Now let's see how far T1w can bring it back.
The ultimate finally comes online, and Assassin hits a very nice grab onto the Primal Raging Tanchio there, who could have gotten a lot more done with that Primal. He did get the kill onto Rookie, but as well, he was going to be able to get a lot more boop kills if that had continued to go on. And now, coming back into this fight, LGD, now they are about even in their support ultimates with T1w, so anything can happen. Look out for Rookie's Graviton. That's the biggest thing to look out for here.
That's the thing, LGD can use a Graviton to try and draw out that Transcendence from Waya. Indeed it does, and that's the only ultimate T1w had to burn. So now here's LGD's opportunity to pile drive T1w and get this point back, as T1w is going to hit the 40% mark. LGD, though, during the fight, almost gets the full completion on the point, just trying to steal it away from T1w, unable to do so. High-B finds Tanjo on the outside. Kenobi out of position, not really helping much at all, trying to get rid of Silver 3, now joining Wan Lee, who's getting 1v2'd, falling back now. Here's Secret, uncontested, putting shots down on Assassin, and that's going to end them for now. Kenobi also on the board against Silver 3, and T1w should be good for now. But LGD, LGD is actually going to pick it right back up. Yeah, T1w completely out. And LGD,
they don't even get back on.
Yeah, they don't even get back down. I thought T1w's High-B would be able to get there in time. LGD, though, picks up the first round on T1w. A great start here for the season, but let's not get too ahead of ourselves. They still got a lot more work to do.
And in that last fight, there was just Secret there on the side, just pumping away damage and Orbs of Disruption and Orbs of Discord onto the members of T1w, getting a couple of frags by himself. And that's really what turned the tide for LGD in that last fight. No one was really looking at him. And in a matchup where you don't really have a Reinhardt or a mobile shield, if Secret's in the backline like that, someone needs to jump onto him. Eventually, there was Silver 3 who went to try and primal onto him, but at that point, the damage was already done. The picks were there, and LGD was able to take back the point, and T1w, unfortunately, weren't able to make it back in time. Maybe a little bit of miscommunication between the off tank and Hy-Vee to try and get back on there, but now T1w going to be bringing out this May Goats composition here, so you're going to be able to use that wall on the point, try and get a lot of value, section off some of the members of LGD.
Yeah. T1w, oh, and there it is, right there, an example for you. T1w allowing themselves to get closer to the point by using that May wall to give themselves some coverage. But LGD will be the first ones to step up onto the point. T1w now going to go in, trying to have LGD with that May wall, and they aren't going to get the kills too quickly, but Tancho does find themselves separated from the rest of the team in the corner. There's the May block going down to keep themselves alive from Hy-Vee. And about already, Molanron about to get that rally, might be able to do so before Kaneki went down to half health, but does get recharged back up. And LGD, as they stepped up onto the point first, they will get the first capture. They are at 10%, but T1w, yeah, great wall and the 2-piece, the 3-piece. Now it's 6-on-3 on the point. But LGD still getting precious seconds on the point during this fight. T1w really can't afford to be giving up too much percentage, but they will only give up 19%.
And that was such a great wall from Hy-Vee, sectioning off the entire retreating team of LGD. Tanchio's shield was getting incredibly low, so he had to back out. And then there's a great wall to section off the rest of Tanchio from the rest of LGD. They get the 2 frags right away, and now T1w have control of this point. And for LGD here, they have to play this very carefully against the May composition. One misstep, and there's a wall there, and one of your teammates is dead. And as a GOATS team, you don't want to be fighting 5v6. You want to be taking these even fights.
T1w has to be careful here too. Tancho has the Earth Shatter before Silver 3 does, so if they get a little too aggressive.
The flank?
Yeah, Tancho might let that go against the Maywall. They will get the pin, but Molanron cutting them down. A great bubble, keeping LG that target alive. Yeah, and then nice shots too. Waya gets 2 off that shatter. Molanron picking up a kill as well. T1w making quick work of LGD, and now at 43% and gaining. LGD slowly slipping away here, but they are building up the ultimates to get back into this fight.
And I don't know if that wall from Hy-Vee was on purpose, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Really nice wall. Tanchio got the charge on the Silver 3, but the wall was there, so he didn't bring him all the way back to his team. Tanchio hit the wall. They were able to collapse onto Tanchio there, and for T1w, after Tanchio's gone, it's a free shatter there for Silver 3, only using the shatter to win. And now the grab comes out, but there is the Transcendence to stop the damage.
Yep, and they were all cautioned up onto that bridge. They'll fall back down to get some cover. T1w giving LGD space. So LGD has to come to them and maybe burn some ultimates to do so. Another May wall coming down from Hy-Vee, trying to separate LGD. Now, all of LGD got inside a graviton.
Oh, what a shatter!
And then a shatter. Silver 3, though, does get back up. They're not going to get killed. Hy-Vee's the only one to go down. And then Y again picks Tancho with a kill. Rookie, uncontested, a ton of charge. Now finally T1w looking for him, and now they're going to chase him down. Kaneki goes down. LGD trying to stay alive as long as possible. Going to use this D.Va bomb to extend it. And Illusion's the only one that's going to get caught. That might be enough. LGD going to try and recontest it for T1w at 98%. They need more than just the D.Va, more than just Wan Lee to recapture this point from T1w. LGD trying to stay alive here as T1w on the outside of the point, looking for a way back in. They can't find it. LGD shuts the door and do get contention and capture on the point.
And there at the end of that fight, Rookie used the Graviton to solo grab Assassin there to try and secure that point. That decision might come back to haunt them in this next fight, especially because Secret needs to charge up to this Transcendence very, very quickly for the side of LGD, because Assassin has his Graviton online. Both of the support ults are even right now. Both have Transcendences. Look out for the Divas here. See if one of them can eat the grab from Assassin.
Absolutely. Tancho also looking to try and build up that Earth Shatter quickly, using the Fire Strike to do so. Ahead of Silver 3 just for now. Here's Secret with the Transcendence, but might be a bit too early against T1w, who hasn't really committed to anything just yet. And May gonna put himself in the block, gonna stay alive longer. That shield is super low for Tancho, and the May wall goes up, catching Rookie in that corner. Illusion will pick up
another big shatter.
On the shatter, but I believe it was mostly on the wall there. Nonetheless, T1w against the shield. Nonetheless, T1w will pick up the kills. 99%. LGD doesn't have anyone there to contest. That Bree is just going to get knocked around. Kaneki does actually pick up the kill on the Silver 3. Should not be enough. Lucio even has to get out of dodge. Why picks up the 2-piece. And T1w will finally get on the board. It's now tied up 1-1 here in Nepal.
And I thought that was actually really smart from T1w there, especially by Wyatt. They use the trance aggressively to try and match the trance coming out from LGD. Secret uses his trance at the end of that fight, and then they know that there's no support ultimate on the other side because Hoyo-chan does not have his sound barrier. They use the wall, they grab. That grab is free as you like because there is no transcendence on the other side to negate a lot of the damage, and then they're able to clean up from their really nice play coming out from T1w in that last fight.
Yeah, LGD's continually getting caught out by the Maywall strat. T1w just continually using it. And though LGD did find themselves able to, avoiding that full separation, like, losing their backline to their front line, a lot of the time they just got caught in a corner, grabbed or earth-shattered by T1w. So LGD didn't really have a quick solution to that May strat. Even though it wasn't necessarily a landslide victory for T1w, they didn't have a quick fix. So let's see what LGD can do on a map that T1w is, again, approaching differently. Now it's Silver 3 on the Wrecking Ball.
Yeah, not only Silver 3 on the Wrecking Ball, but you also have Assassin on Widow here, so look out to see if he can get any value on this Widowmaker. Against a Goats composition, it'll be a little bit more difficult, but you have Silver 3 who can cause a lot of disruption, and maybe Assassin might be able to sneak in a headshot or two, get one of the supports down very quickly, and then they'll be able to snowball it from there.
You're going to see already why Silver 3 trying to go into the back line, trying to steal away some attention from LGD as Assassin looking for shots on the front line. LGD not going to lose anybody yet, but Tanjio is going to get that first kill. Silver 3 going down, unable to stay alive in the back line. Hybe will even things up at 5 on 5 with Rookie going down as well. Hybe at a huge amount of charge, but getting out of position and goes down. Hyoken will find the kill. LGD up a few members in this team fight. No, T1w trying to keep them off the point. LGD lets them come to them. They bait them off the point. They get those remaining kills, and then LGD will pick up again the first capture on this round.
And I really like what Wanli has been doing against this Widowmaker and Assassin. Wanli is always trying to spot Assassin and see where he is. And at the end of that fight, he was able to go in, make sure that Assassin wasn't getting any just free shots onto the backline. He was pressuring him for all the time. And Assassin is still going to stay on this Widow. I'm not sure. I would rather see him maybe switch over to something else, because at this point, you're taking a 5v6 here if you're the side of T1w, because Assassin has not been getting the value that he needs off of this Widowmaker.
Well, it's just LGD's composition that's too chunky. There are too many shields in the way. There's a Matrix in the way. Wanli then picks off Assassin. That's the thing. D.Va can go right after Widowmaker and punish. Hybe, though, and Waya will not only even things out, take the player lead. A 5v4 advantage here for T1w. LGD trying to even it out with that D.Va bomb. It doesn't work. Waya picks up the kill instead. Tanjio has nowhere to run here, getting bopped around like a ping pong ball. And Illusion will finally get that kill. T1w picks up the capture as LGD finally do fall to this Hammond Widowmaker strategy. And somehow LGD going to try and figure out a way back on.
And this time, Wanli going after Assassin is actually the thing that hurts LGD the most here. Wanli tries to check Assassin on the high ground, and then really good presence of mind from Hybe to understand there's no D.Va here. I can grab for free. There's no Transcendence on the side for LGD either. So really nice heads-up play coming out from T1w and coming out from Hybe. And Hybe gonna try and stay on this high ground, try and get some damage done. Silver 3 getting very deep in there is gonna be able to get out.
Now look at that, T1w giving LGD so much room here, letting LGD playing very aggressively, get out of position, get overextended, and then pop ultimates. And there it is, Silver 3 throwing down the minefield, does a lot of residual damage, but no kills. And that's because Hyoken threw down that beat. Rookie has the Graviton, then there's the rally as well from Kaneki. So LGD burned everything just off that one minefield from T1w, and then Illusion will eventually, and does in fact use that sound barrier. It doesn't work out as T1w planned. I think they expected LGD to overextend a little more. I think they expected LGD to burn more resources, and LGD very reserved in that push, and actually counterattacks, gets the pickup, and now T1w has lost the lead.
And I really like this switch from Wanli over to the Sombra. Already has the EMP, but speaking of switches, we have a Reaper here, folks. That's not something we see too often. It seems like a little bit of a desperate swap here. They're going to try and maybe just bum rush onto the point, knowing that there really isn't a D.Va to try and eat a lot of the damage coming from Reaper. We haven't seen Reaper work too much in Overwatch League, but here in China, anything can happen, Rapture.
Well, this is typical T1w. If they're running an extreme weird composition, they go even harder. They even go more weird. They go more extreme. And LGD, though, making them pay the price. The Transcendence comes out, keeping the team bolsters. Kaneki got the right click onto the Reinhardt. Without that shield there, Assassin really can't get much damage done. Assassin goes down very quickly afterward. And then off of that Graviton, Rookie and Wanli pick up the remainder of T1w. LGD, Kenobi, they're only a couple % away from taking this first map on T1w.
And I don't think T1w actually is going to make it back onto the point here. We're at 99%. Illusion barely touches at the last second. That's huge. He goes down though, and it's just a stall battle right now. If the picks are good from LGD, they should be able to hold this point and take the map win.
Oh, Tancho uses the Earth Shatter. It's gonna miss Silver 3, but it gets everyone else on T1w. Rookie picks up the 2 kill, the double for Rookie, and that should be it as Kaneki and Secret pick up and sweep up the floor. T1w, they don't have any resources to burn. LGD had the advantage going into the fight, and they're gonna push that advantage until they get the win. Kenobi, what an absolute crazy victory here for LGD, because T1w went from a perfect season last season. The regular season, they didn't drop a single map, and now this season of Contenders China, they dropped their very first map of the regular season. That's why.
Yeah, I mean, insane. They were 20-0 last season, like you said, and it's amazing that it seems like LGD is the kryptonite here for T1w. We talked about it before we started watching that first map, is that LGD was the team in Next Cup that eventually was able to beat T1w and break their winning streak, and now it seems like LGD is back with a vengeance, and T1w, some interesting compositions coming out from them. We saw the Reaper, we saw this Hammond Widow composition, things that we aren't used to seeing. And while they do have some ideas behind them, it seemed like LGD was perfectly fine with saying, okay, you can play these weird compositions, you can play the Bastion, you can play the Orisa, you can play the Widow, and you can play the Reaper, but we're going to stick with what we know, which is goats, our 3-3 goats. It's very good and very clean, and that's what we're going to be sticking with, and that's what we're going to use to beat you, and it works out in the end.
Yeah, honestly, I think T1w is their own worst enemy on that map for sure, because the first 2 rounds, I think, were pretty even. T1w, though, their willingness to go these compositions that might not necessarily work against goats like a Widowmaker and that Hammond, which really have to be consistent on point throughout the entire map. And unfortunately, Silver 3 dying a little too early in some of those fights. Assassin not always able to get. I don't really think Assassin.
I don't think he got a
crazy picks.
I think he got a pick that entire time.
You know, you really
especially against especially against goats. Like Widow is very difficult to really get a lot of value, especially if you're not getting those good sight lines. You know, on Nepal as well, you don't really have that many options for sight lines. You have those high grounds, but again, Wanley was doing a good job of checking him wherever he went. And if there's just a diva in your face, Widow's not going to be winning that 1v1. So I think LGD played against that composition very well. They even made that swap from Wanley onto the Sombra when Silver 3 was running the ball. And what's the worst thing about ball is if you see a Sombra, she hacks you, you can't be rolling away. You're basically 600 health worth of EMP charge for that Sombra.
Absolutely. So LGD, a great start against T1w, the last season's champion, already dropping their first map in the regular season. The only map they dropped at all last season was in playoffs. It was against Flag Gaming. LGD, this is the second time they've ever played T1w, and they already have the lead. So a great start here for LGD. Don't go anywhere. We're going to do a little bit of a break. When we come back, map 2 between LGD and T1w. Welcome back, everybody, to Overwatch Contenders China Season 1 2019. I am Rapture here with Kenobi, bringing you the continuation of T1w, the one winner, versus LGD Gaming. And it is already 1-0 after Nepal as we move on to our second map of the set, Blizzard World. Kenobi, we saw LGD take it out from T1w. Any expectations going into this next map?
So Blizzard World is not a map that we've seen, that we didn't see last season in Chinese Contenders, and with a lot of the long sightlines that you can see on this map, I expect something like Widow, and LGD is already not disappointing, bring out this quad DPS composition. If you've been watching Overwatch League, Chengdu kind of runs something like this with the hamster and the quad DPS, so definitely look out for these players to try and get some picks. Wanli is just going to do his best to try and just break down T1w's tank line right now, and Silver 3 is getting already punished really hard.
Yeah, you know, interestingly enough, when you think of Pharah in Contenders China, you think of Molanron, who is on the Brigitte, and it's instead Wanli on the Pharah. So LGD trying to get a lot of work done with this Pharah, and you can see how well it's working out. They have so many DPS, there are too much damage, there's too much damage coming from too many angles for T1w to really work with against here, especially a composition that they're running just a straight up goats that doesn't have too much mobility unless they're all clumped up with the Lucio, and you can see how it's working out for LGD. They're getting picked apart, pulled in every direction, and LGD will get that first capture with just under 5 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock.
And Rookie was really clutch in that last fight. He was able to demech Hybe, and once Hybe is demeched, you don't have anything to stop the damage coming from the Pharah besides maybe your bubbles and the shield from Silver 3, but the shield from Silver 3 was already getting blown to pieces, and look at the ultimates that you have now for LGD. You have the Barrage EMP combo as well as a Pulse Bomb that can get one pick if you need and just snowball the fight from there, so LGD looking really good right now.
Yeah, and because of how dominant they were in that first fight, you could see the ultimate advantage, the ultimate privilege that LGD has going into this next one. Wanli doesn't even have to burn the Pharah Barrage to do much damage, but Maya, too early with that Transcendence, burning it way before LGD committed to anything. Wanli, though, picks a pretty poor position to throw down that Barrage, but at the very least, it keeps T1w in that room for a little longer than they might have expected. Hybe takes a lot of damage. They try to poke out. I actually like this from LGD. They're forcing T1w to stay in this room, and they're poking and doing so much damage anytime T1w tries to peek around one of those corners. So LGD not only locking T1w into this room, but they're nice and easily moving the card ahead until finally Silver 3 will step out. LGD gives them the room that they need to work with, and now they're going to go back to the strategy they had earlier. Do damage, dive right in, make it hard for T1w to really know where that damage is coming from. Wanli, though, again, gets way too close with the Barrage and goes down.
And something that we didn't talk about yet just is that Micha is back in the lineup. Micha, as we know him from last season, was a star Doomfist player coming into this lineup, and now he's back on the Zarya, something that he played on and off last season. Looks like they've taken out Assassin for this map, so I'm definitely interested to see how Micha looks on something that isn't the Doomfist. They played so much Doomfist last season, had such great success with it, no one could really stop it, but now Doomfist isn't as strong as he used to be anymore, so let's see if Micha's going to be able to do what he can do on the Zarya that he did with the Doomfist.
Micha throws down the Graviton, doesn't get eaten. LGD gonna get sucked all right into it, and T1w cleans him up very easily. They're all right in position to stomp down LGD. The second that Graviton came down, LGD didn't really get an opportunity to burn much to try and keep themselves alive. Not a huge loss. That's their first team fight loss of the map, but T1w will finally at least take control for the moment here on Blizzard World.
But LGD is in quite the ultimate hole right now, having to make all those swaps from the DPS composition, where you look at T1w, they have 3 check marks, LGD, none, and not even someone to 50%, so T1w can really play aggressive here, use this bomb to try and get a couple of kills, get Secret down, really nice positioning from that self-destruct coming out from Hybe.
Self-destruct grinds on the rooftop of that building, gets a couple points for that, and Molanron and Micha will also join him on the kill feed. A T1w 6-3 player advantage over LGD, and that's going to force LGD to go back to the drawing board for the time being, as T1w has relegated them to 2 minutes and 38 seconds on the clock here, Kenobi. And as you said, LGD still in that ultimate hole.
So here the question is, how do you get out of here for LGD? And the best way I see at the moment is that you're going to have to use this rally from Kaneki a little bit aggressively, try and force out a couple of ultimates, maybe force out the Transcendence or the rally from Molanron as well. You have to force out some ultimates from T1w, or it's just going to be a disaster for them. They're going to waste so much time sitting here. They use the rally here, but they don't get the rally or anything out from Molanron. They are so scared right now. They just use the rally to move over. They're going to have the armor, residual armor coming from this ultimate, but man, they need to really get some ultimates out of here from T1w.
Yeah, the rally at least gives them coverage to do this rotation to the other side, but T1w just rotates with them, and now they're playing just two sides of a different coin here. T1w still has the ultimate advantage. Tanchio, though, gets the Earth Shatter, about to get the Earth Shatter, but it's Silver 3 who cracks theirs down first and doesn't allow Tanchio to get theirs in time. LGD goes down again, and only one ultimate burn their Kenobi. So resourceful, so efficient here economically. T1w burns one ultimate, and now they have 5 on the board, in their belt, in the pocket, against LGD with 1 minute and 30 seconds left on the clock.
LGD did, however, farm up a lot of their ultimates as well. They're going to have the combo of the self-destruct and the graviton as well, but it's going to be a bloodbath of a fight for this next fight for both teams. 5 ultimates online for each team. However, T1w does have the rally advantage, but Transcendence already forced out. That's huge, Rapture.
LGD, you got to get out of this corner here. They finally break out, but they have to use the Transcendence to do so. There's the graviton with the self-destruct combination. Both of them going down, and Rookie hit high B, not letting either of them do each other out. Both going to pick up
nice shatter.
And then the shatter will come down from Tanchio. We were waiting for that one a little bit here. Nice bubble coverage will come out from Wanli to keep Tanchio alive as he dove in and use that charge to get a kill and then pick up one on Silver 3. Secret will also get on the board. LGD finally gets control of the payload, but they spent so much time doing so, they put themselves way behind, and T1w making it very easy for them when they get on the board, when it's their opportunity to play on offense.
Not only have they taken a lot of time, Rapture, but T1w took a lot of ultimates from them in that last fight. LGD used basically everything to try and get out of that choke and out of that chokehold that T1w had them in. They were able to keep Silver 3's shatter as well as Illusion sound barrier, so they have the advantage going into this next fight. The rally's going to come out from Kaneki to try and give them some armor for this next fight, but they already lost Hoyo-chan. That's a huge pick. They have to retreat, and with 13 seconds left, Rapture, this is last fight for the side of LGD.
And Kaneki, again, using rally here, I mean, guess to get themselves prepared for this next fight, but I don't know where we're going. There we go. And Secret now looking for an opportunity, has the Transcendence ready to go for the next one. Hyoken taking a lot of damage, was stunned, has to fall back. Illusion has the sound barrier ready to go. T1w does have the resource to burn. Silver 3 cracks down an Earth Shatter. Not going to be too effective here, but it will get LGD moving, trying to stir the pot here against LGD as overtime ticks away. Mitra getting closer and closer to a Graviton. A charge, stun, both Reinhardt put back on their back. There's the Graviton from Mitra. There's the Transcendence from Wyatt. There is the rally from Moonron. T1w throwing the kitchen sink and then some, trying to shut down LGD. They want to get back into the series. There's a self-destruct from up top, but it doesn't find anything. Just an air ball here for Rookie. Kaneki, though, will finally get on the board. This is just so many bodies just slamming into each other. Nothing much actually happening. T1w trying to get LGD away from the cart, but LGD is the one to push T1w off finally after Rookie was able to demech high B. That's the thing about Goats. The second something happens, it starts to snowball so quickly. And LGD was able to get the demech. They had the better positioning around the cart, and they're able to push T1w back and finally get to the second section of this map with less than 1 minute and 30 seconds to go.
A lot of particle effects coming out in that last fight. Silver 3, I believe, had 2 shatters in that fight, but they didn't get the value that they needed, and LGD come back, and they get that pick onto Eren, who's playing a little bit out of position there. They get him down, and as you know, in Goats, when LGD has the Brig advantage, and it's a 5v6, Brigitte offers so much more. You get that AoE healing, you get the damage as well, and if T1w doesn't have that, the fight's pretty much over at that.
Yep. And really, LGD can't afford to be burning too many ultimates in this next fight if they don't win it, right? Like, if they lose this fight, they got to be careful. If they burn everything and they lose this fight, that's pretty much it. They're going to continue to push up here, using the rally from Kaneki to be aggressive. Tanchio has the Earth Shatter, cracks it down. T1w, though, still able to scramble their way to keeping defense on the point. Now there's the Graviton, comes down from Wanli, along with the Transcendence, and Hyoken has the sound barrier if need be. LGD, though, with the lead here player-wise, they might not need to burn both support ultimates, and indeed, they don't hit Q at the same time. Secret's going to burn theirs first. Hyoken's still going to hold on to theirs. LGD able to clean up with the tank line just mowing down T1w, but T1w still, with 20 seconds remaining, has 2 ultimates still in their pocket.
And Wanli is very high charge. I wouldn't be shocked if by the next time we fight, there is going to be a Graviton online for him, especially if it's a long, drawn-out fight like we've been seeing so far from both these teams. But with 8 seconds left, this is last fight. LGD needs to win this fight to push this into the 3rd spot.
Rookie has their self-destruct. The second that T1w overextends, they can throw that self-destruct down.
Kaneki's dead.
Oh, Yeah, that not only dead there, but the T1w, Hybe, using that self-destruct, doesn't get anything. LGD, they lose, they lose Iroquois before you can use the sound barrier that's so huge, and now T1w can just snowball through LGD. They survive the Graviton. Now they're pushing forward. They force Secret to use the Transcendence. They demech Rookie, and Secret goes down. T1w able to stop LGD before they can complete the map. That sets up T1w to just finish the map once, and they will tie up this series.
So T1w does have the win condition now to try and get basically to the last point, and if you're LGD, I think you take this, especially with the way that it looked very bad going into those last couple of fights before they got to the second point. They were being camped in their spawn for a very good amount of time, probably about 2 minutes, and then you're able to get it basically to the third point. I think that's a win for LGD, especially if you think about where they were and what position they were in. But T1w, it's interesting how they look on GOATS, because at the end of last season when they were playing GOATS, they looked incredible. The team composition was working out great, but LGD seems to have their number in a few of these fights. The ultimate combos for LGD are looking a little bit better, as well as the support ult timing coming out from them. So I think LGD looks a little bit more comfortable on GOATS, where I think T1w probably at this point wants to be playing something else.
Yeah, T1w really just hasn't found their groove yet, right? Like, I think they're still kind of, you know, wavering a bit in terms of, like, they want to play these compositions that are a little, not necessarily harebrained, but just not necessarily meta all the time, or slight modifications to these meta compositions, or they're pulled from the necessity that this meta has of playing GOATS, right? So they're kind of pulled between these two things, whereas LGD is very comfortable just going right to GOATS. I think one thing LGD is not comfortable at, though, is that they seem to burn ultimates too early, or they get their supports get caught out before they're able to burn theirs, like Heurix and losing their lives before they could use the sound barrier in that last fight, which was pretty pivotal in T1w winning that last fight. So I think that might be LGD's biggest weakness right now, and trying to hold T1w off here. They got to make sure they keep their supports alive. They got to make sure they don't burn resources too early, and that could give them a chance against T1w here.
And someone who has really impressed me this series has actually been Rookie here on the Zarya. He didn't play it that much last season because there was Shocheng who was on the Zarya who played it a lot. And Rookie has been doing a really good job of making sure that he isn't really, he's getting a lot of value out of his Gravitons, right? Shocheng had an issue last season where he was kind of more of a DPS player. He would use his Gravitons, and sometimes, you know, there was just a defense matrix right there. And Rookie and Wanli both, respectively, have looked very good on the Zarya, and now they are just going to run at T1w after Silver 3 goes a little bit too aggressive there, ends up going down, and now LGD Rookie already towards a Graviton. Micha, not even 50% to his.
T1w just got melted right there. LGD getting very aggressive behind Rookie, who was at immediately like 80 or 90 charge, and now has a Graviton ready to go here, Kenobi. It's going to be hard for T1w to break through.
And now Silver 3 has switched over to the Reinhardt. That's good. You are going to have a little bit more static shielding and mobile shielding available to you to try and negate some of the damage coming out from Rookie, because Rookie against the Winston, there's no shield, and the D.Va has to be targeting him. Wanli gets pretty in there, is going to be able to survive. The Transcendence is out as well.
That was so good. A great right click there from Monron. Forced Wanli to go up into the air so he wasn't in position to throw out a Matrix to eat that Graviton. Great play there against Wanli from T1w, but T1w still is unable to really get on the point and get that capture, and they have to worry about Tanju, who has the Earth Shatter. He's showing it, and he gets blocked as a result. But some of them are so... He actually slipped by on the side and just connects with the self-destruct. What a play! 3 kills off that. It was only the Reinhardt that didn't really get hit by the Earth Shatter, but it sneaks by on the left side, hitting the back line of T1w, and LGD with a big 3K combo, again shutting down T1w, now leaving them with 2 minutes on the clock.
And that was so sick from Hoyo-chan. Usually you see those boop kills kind of only used in Graviton Surge when you have the combo, but they're just, you know what, they're like, whatever, we don't need the Graviton. We have Hoyo-chan, who's arguably one of the best Lucios in the league. They get the huge boop I was going to see on the replay right here. What a boop coming out from Hoyo-chan there. Gets the 3K, and now LGD has a really good time bank that they've given to T1w.
Yeah, great combination there. And now T1w with 1 minute and 30 seconds left on the clock, looking for another approach onto the point. They've been unsuccessful so far, and again find themselves in a Graviton. Here's a self-destruct from above. Not going to get kills, but it will knock Wanli off the point. He has to walk back over and took a lot of damage too. And Secret getting on the board there with a lot of damage. Hybe also keeping this Zarya relegated to the back. Rookie going to take a swing and find themselves going back to spawn. It's T1w who does get point A finally. They had about a minute and change in the clock. Now they have about 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
They did take a lot of time to get this first point, though, and that can't be understated when looking at this next part of the map. This next part of the map does kind of take a little bit of a while to get through. You probably are going to get 1 or 2 fights, and that's probably going to milk about 2 minutes off of the clock unless you win them. So LGD is in a pretty decent position right now, especially with the ultimates that they have. They could use this Graviton aggressively here, try and force out some of the ultimates from T1w, force out the Transcendence, force out the Sound Barrier as well.
Oh, Silver 3 picks off Rookie so early. Why was Rookie so low? And now Tancho looking for a way back in. Gets caught from the charge from Silver 3. Great play there. Tancho was already low, and not only low, but had the Earth Shatter ready to go. There goes charge response there from Silver 3. Micho using that right click to boost themselves around. And now Kenobi, T1w is in full control. This is the team that we're used to.
Yeah, and I don't mind that fight too much there from LGD. You get onto the cart and you stop a little bit of time. You're also allowed to farm up a little bit of ultimates to yourself, because look at LGD right now. They have a treasure trove of ultimates coming into this next fight. The only thing they're not going to have is Hoyo-chan's Sound Barrier, but they have 5 to their name. They have the Graviton self-destruct combo, and as we've seen from Hoyo-chan, he's able to hit those even raw without the Graviton.
Oh, Silver 3 is kind of out of position there. Doesn't get caught out at the last second. Gets boosted back to the rest of the team. That could have been disastrous for T1w. Now Micho looking for another way in, flanking and giving T1w an opportunity to now go up on the high ground and contest LGD right to their face, gets in their grill. Rookie, though, looks for the opportunity, has a Graviton ready to go, too. Now T1w, 6 ultimates, they're going to burn everything. There's so many killers on the screen. LGD, though, burning everything they can. A great Earth Shatter from Silver 3 as LGD's backline was backing up from the rest of that fight, and called out they are by Silver 3 as they're caught out entirely by that Earth Shatter. Great play by T1w. They sweep it up big time, and LGD getting slaughtered again. T1w in full control. They got 3 minutes and change on the clock again, and they're looking to complete the map.
And this time it's LGD's ultimates that don't get the value that they were looking for. You know, the ultimate from Tanchio. Tanchio has had an issue so far this series where the Earth Shatters aren't really hitting members, but Silver 3 comes back with his own and gets 2 of the supports. He gets Hoyo-chan and he gets Kaneki, 2 very important parts of the GOAT's composition. They're able to clean up with the self-destruct as well, but they used a lot, but so did LGD. LGD used so many ultimates in that last fight as well, and T1w has the advantage.
And both teams used so many ultimates. It was like a map-ending fight there, but it wasn't even over just yet. That was just the second section. Now going into this one, there's a Graviton, catch them all in the corner. Also throwing that one down. And then again, LGD just, sometimes that Graviton in the corner just be hitting different. And LGD gets caught out by it once more. T1w not only getting that kill with the pickup of those Gravitons, but still sitting on 3 ultimates here, Kenobi.
And this is the last fight here for LGD. If they lose this fight, they are most likely going to lose this map because of how close it is to the golden box of victory. They're going to go in with the rally to try and zone off T1w a bit. I like that T1w is playing back, waiting for the rally to expire before they try and re-engage.
Now LGD with 2 on their belt, and now Tancho with the Earth Shatter. The self-destruct comes out from the back line. High B isn't able to connect, but there's the Earth Shatter. And Tancho unable to throw theirs out in time. Now they finally do crack it. Wanli as well with the self-destruct.
Silver 3's dead.
Yep, and we'll combo off that Earth Shatter to get Silver 3 down into the graveyard. Now it's T1w trying to stay in control of the point. Micha finds the kill on the Rookie. There's the D-Mech onto Wanli, and now it's just going to be
high charge.
Super aggressive at 100 charge, and then waning ever so slightly. 0.24 meters remaining, and T1w will secure the bag. There it is. 1-1 now between these two teams. LGD got out ahead first, but T1w ties things right up.
And there we had questions again at the start of the map, rather, when Micha came in. How was Micha going to play on something that wasn't the Doomfist? And there it looks like it looks very good on the Zarya as well. It seems like he's been in the lab, been grinding that hero a little bit just in terms of not being able to play Doomfist anymore. When we saw him last season on it, it looked decent. It didn't look like it was a world beater, but there in that last fight, when he's 100 charge, he's melting people and doing a great job. His Gravitons, we're getting some decent value as well, and I like that he sometimes decided not to go for the big ones, go for the smaller ones, go for the 2-man, the 3-man, the solos. So I think Micha's looking pretty decent on a Zarya, and if they're going to continue T1w to play this Ghost composition, they are going to need a Zarya player, and it looks like they have found that at the moment in Micha.
No, absolutely. You can kind of see that Doomfist in his Zarya play, how aggressive he is, how willing he is to put his head right into the thick of things, almost put his neck on the line to get that charge up and get those Gravitons ahead of his opposing team's Zarya, which I think really makes a difference, especially at these Goats v Goats composition fights. Yeah, T1w looking really good. LGD, of course, stopping them from getting their perfect season. If we go back to Nepal, that was a map too that we saw a willingness from T1w to go these compositions that aren't necessarily standard, and LGD made them pay the price for it. They made them pay for using that Orisa Bastion or using the May Goats or putting Reaper in their composition. LGD got ahead first. Any takeaways from Nepal, Kenobi?
I think with Nepal, the thing I want to talk about a little bit is the fact that they, made these interesting composition choices, and the differentiation between that and this map in Blizzard World is that you saw them run basically only goats, and it looks a lot better than if they try and just go over to all different things. I know goats has this kind of mantra as being an unfun composition, but at the end of the day, it looks a lot better for them right now. It's getting them wins. Like, they took this map with time to spare, and they were able to hold LGD to just 2 points. So I think it looks a lot better for goats. I think if they continue to stick with this, that's what they should do. Take them in the 1v1, because they do have moments where they are able to beat LGD in the 1v1.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, on our second map, we went to Blizzard World, and T1w, we all just saw it. They went more goats, and to no one's surprise, they were more effective with it. So I think LGD really kind of felt the effects of that as they were holed up in the early parts of that map, making it very difficult for them to get out. You can see Micha, so much great play with the Zarya. I mean, honestly, T1w really looked like they were firing all cylinders with the composition that we know in this meta is the strongest to play with. How do you think LGD responds now that they know that T1w, they can run goats probably better than anyone else?
I think something that I would like Team LGD to start doing is being a little bit more safe with their support ultimates. We see sometimes that they're getting baited their support ultimates out by the side of T1w. T1W's, they're over-aggressing. They're using the sound barrier aggressively to go in, and then they're forcing out the sound barrier or the transcendence coming out from LGD. It seems like every time that there's a sound barrier on one side, LGD always says, okay, we have to match it. And while you do, you can just disengage and try and take that fight and keep that ultimate for yourself, because if T1w over-aggresses with the Zenyatta trance, you just back up. If you can back up, and then you just have that ultimate for free. So I'd like to see them be a little bit more safe and not just, oh, they trance, that means we have to trance as well.
Yeah, these teams definitely have to make sure they're putting as much thought as they can into every decision. We've seen what we have seen so far from both of these teams. We've seen what these teams are made of so far in these first 2 maps. We still have more to go. We could go all the way. We could do 5 maps. Of course, there's still 2 more sets after this one. So don't go anywhere, folks. We're going to go on a short break, but when we come back, map 3 between T1w and LGD Gaming. We are back with Overwatch Contenders China Season 1, 2019. I am Rapture here with Kenobi for our third map of the first set of the day. T1w and LGD are tied up 1-1, and now we're heading over to Volskaya Industries to see who is going to take the lead. Kenobi, we've seen what these two teams can show off. T1w and LGD now going to be heading over to the Assault game type. And this is already, you know, a pretty important match because there are only so many weeks in a contender season, 2 groups of 6 teams playing in round robin format to make it to a single elimination playoff bracket with only 8 teams. So there's a lot of the line even in this week 1 matchup.
Yeah, and it looks like here for T1w, they were coming out on the GOATS composition, but now they're going to be switching over to something a little bit different. Actually, no, they're just going to go stay on the GOATS composition. Micha baited me just a little bit, but LGD on the defense here going to be running the Hamzah Sombra. So look out for Wanli here if he's able to farm up that EMP quickly, because against GOATS composition, that EMP can really just wreak havoc on them, especially with Hoyo-chan here on the Ana now. If Hybe isn't able to eat a lot of these anti-nades, it's going to be disastrous for them.
Honestly, this is pretty crazy to look at because T1w team is pretty more notorious for running a composition that might have a non-meta characters. And here we're seeing Hanzo for the first time in a while. We're seeing Sombra again. We're seeing an Ana from LGD. This is really unprecedented, I think, a little bit. Even for Chinese contenders, this is a composition you really ever see. And T1w, it seems like they're having a little trouble dealing with it initially, so just trying to stay up as clumped up as possible, but they force themselves into this corner, making it easy for LGD to mow them all down. Not only that, they've made it easy for Wanli to pick up an EMP pretty early. Now, T1w, though, they still have some players alive on the board, but they won't be alive long enough as Kaneki and Wanli connecting for a bunch of kills there. So much hang time there for Kaneki on Hanzo. Picks the kill onto Illusion. And there we go. LGD will pick, or at least they'll hold off T1w.
Oh, Kaneki, no.
Kaneki actually going down at a fight, a position really where they shouldn't be, but still T1w has lost so much time on the clock already.
Yeah, he kind of there tried to swag a little bit on Micha, but got a little bit too over aggressive, only with 40 health there. And unfortunately for T1w at the start of that fight, at the very start of that fight, because it lasted for a long time, as fights sometimes do in China, Illusion went hyper over aggressive onto the top of the little building there with 3 people, and unfortunately he just got blown up immediately by the entirety of LGD. And now T1w coming in this next fight, they are going to have this Graviton Surge. Look out for Secret to try and farm up to this Transcendence, because he's going to need it if Micha is going to get it first.
And T1w with less than 2 minutes to go, they can't hesitate for too long here, and they will get onto that point immediately using Silver 3 to give him some coverage, but they are going to flank on the left side. Wanli, though, is ready to go. Has an EMP, though. Waya picks up Kaneki before the EMP went down.
Big anti.
Yep, still, not only that, T1w gets hit by so much here. There's very little room for them to work with. Tanchio forces them into that corner again, picks up the 2 pieces, as well as helping out Rookie D, Nek, Diva, and Hybe. And just like that, LGD reversing back on where they came from. Like the tape went all the way back in reverse. And LGD again holding on strong on point A. T1w cannot figure out how to get on so far.
And Rapture, we have a Doomfist sighting in this patch. I think we've gone back in time just a little bit. Kaneki back on the Doomfist to try and get back onto the point quickly. He is going to do a little bit amount of damage, but this is an interesting pick. We haven't seen Doomfist since Season 3. Let's see if it's able to work out for them. He's going to forego the Brigitte instead. So LGD bringing out some interesting compositions.
I love that. T1w just turns around. Oh, there's Doomfist out of nowhere. I just literally, Micha turned around and turned right back the other way. I didn't want to deal with it. Hybe now aggressing up on the high ground, trying to force LGD onto the ground here. Might make it easier. Oh, Graviton gets thrown way out in left field there. No one gets caught out by it. Waya finds the kill on Kaneki. T1w with less than 30 seconds to go is finally getting something going on this point, and they will able to keep LGD off the point for just a moment, but with the Transcendence and now Tanchio with the Primal Rage, they are going to be able to sustain on the point long enough to probably get reinforcements back into this. T1w has to cut them off. That self-destruct, I don't know where it was being thrown. EMP to a self-destruct combination though from LGD, and it will find 1 kill. 2 resources burned for just Micha, but it could be enough to hold them off. Less than 5 seconds to go. T1w struggling, but they really never seen them struggle before. LGD,
they can't get in
at their number. This is crazy, Kenobi.
Yeah, they can't get in. Tanchio is having an absolute monstrous game right now on this Winston. It seems like he is everywhere that they need to be. T1w just could not figure out how to deal with Tanchio. Every time that there's a support by himself or just segregated from his team, Tanchio is there getting these picks, and T1w just got full held by LGD. Last year's champions who went 20-0 in the regular season are being full held on Volskaya by a composition that they're sometimes known for, running these interesting composition with these interesting DPS heroes. And we saw Doomfist sighting coming out from Kenobi. This match is just so weird. And LGD look like they are going to be able to take this 2-1 victory, but anything can happen here. I'm interested to see what T1w runs on the defensive end, but man, again, Tanchio, I think, was the MVP of that last fight, of that last hold there from LGD, doing such a great job of just being everywhere. And unfortunately, Micha, with his Zarya, wasn't able to really get the value that he needed. That grab was the leftist of left fields, we could probably say.
Yeah, that was, I really don't know where they were going. They were trying to hit something, trying to get the ground rule double, maybe, I'm not sure. And really this is a T1w roster. Like you said, they were the champions last season. It's a roster that barely has changed in 4 seasons, whereas LGD, they were probably the team impacted the most by the huge power vacuum that we saw last season. They lost so many, I mean, Shy, they lost Shy, after 2 seasons, now on Billy Gaming. They lost Gujwe to Overwatch League. They lost Only Wish to GZ Academy. Secret is the only player that's really been on the team for a long period of time, and Eileen as well. They lost Eileen too. So T1w, they're facing a team that's been in flux for so long, and LGD looking more stable than a team that is the picture perfect example of stability.
And LGD here gonna be running this quad DPS composition. They played it a little bit on Blizzard World, and here for T1w, I like that they've brought out Silver 3 here on the Winston. I think they probably have scouted this out a little bit coming out from LGD, because Silver 3 is gonna have a little bit of a better time living through a lot of the damage that's gonna be pumped out from LGD here. But LGD can really just play this slow, but it doesn't matter. Secret is able to get the kill on the Silver 3. That's a huge pick. Now they don't have any dive threat onto this backline of LGD.
Quad DPS working out great for LGD. You're going to use Tancho to continue to disrupt that backline for T1w, giving targets for Juan, Lee, Secret, and Rookie to play with. Kenobi already getting super low, though. Can't afford to get too low. Even though they're doing great so far, they need that EMP to really steal the deal against T1w, who's also having trouble building ultimates at least a little bit, but they're losing.
They're close to the ticks.
They're getting close and closer, actually. LGD getting uncomfortably close here for T1w, who's really struggling to just stay together in a composition that needs to stay together, especially against 4 DPS. But the kills are coming slowly here for LGD. Secret, helping out T1w, decided to lend a hand, and gets them back into this fight. Now there's a 6v5 player advantage for T1w, and they're going to push that a little bit. Wadley needs to get a kill. Somebody needs to get a kill here. T1w not going to back up a little bit. You see Wyatt finds the Sombra Kenobi, who's still trying to build up their first
Silver
EMP.
3 again is gone.
Wadley with the E hits Silver 3, a biggie. And T1w now evened up a little bit. They have the rally from Molanron. They have a Transcendence ready to go for Wyatt when they need to burn it. But it's LGD's really their fight to lose here, I think. I think it's their fight to lose here, Kenobi. There's the EMP, but Micha goes down just before Wadley would be able to take advantage of that EMP. That's such a huge loss. T1w still able to survive against these ultimates that are being staggered by LGD. 1 kill at a time per ultimate, and T1w trying to weather the storm, but the boat is rocking here, Kenobi. They might capsize. Secret finds another kill onto Wyatt. This fight's still going, refuses to quit. LGD looking for Rookie to get a big kill here. Finally finishes off that Silver 3 with the help of Kenobi, but Micha again finds a kill on this Zarya with taking down Tancho, and then another one from Micha on Rookie, and then another one from Micha on Secret. He won't stop. Has the Graviton ready to go, trying to pick the far out of the sky. Almost
got him.
It does it with the left click beam finish. Micha just putting the team on the back and carrying them through that fight, which just really wouldn't end. Now LGD left to 1:30 on the clock.
That fight lasted for so long, Rapture, and LGD have actually made swaps completely with their team, foregoing the quad DPS altogether, but now they're in such an ultimate hole right now when it comes to their ultimates. They don't have anything. But on the other side for T1w, you have Micha's Graviton, you have the Sombra, you also have Silver 3's Primal, which you can probably just use for him to stay alive, but he gets dangerously low there. He greeds out, he doesn't Primal, that's huge!
Oh my god, no. After all that work Micha did, that might have been thrown away there by Silver 3 going out to really Molanron, evening the scales. Now it's 5-5. Heurix goes down, and they were unable to get closer. Actually, they were so far away for a beat, didn't even really matter. Now LGD and T1w evened up here. Less than a minute to go. T1w and LGD, they're so close to point A from being taken here. Neither team will give up any position here. Look how much they're respecting each other a lot here. Neither team overextending at all. Both teams looking to try and build ultimate, but T1w with a massive advantage ultimate-wise. Now we're going to start to push it. Silver 3 puts down the Primal Rage. Molinron throws down the rally. High B gets the D-Mech onto Rookie, and now T1w starting to snowball, but the Transcendence coming out from Secret and then connecting with the rally should be enough to even
What a shatter!
Wow! A shatter just completely cracking the crust of the earth there. T1w still weathering the storm just a little bit. Tancho gets the charge on the Molinron. There's the nice charge cancel there. Silver 3 finds connecting. Tancho caught in the corner there. They're going to pick this up. Micha and the Diva are going to find him in the corner. There's a Rookie self-destruct. And Illusion goes down. Now Rookie, though, super low, gets D-Mech. A Graviton barely catching a few members of LGD in its
They can't get on. They can't get on.
But yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to make it here, Kenobi. Into T1w, they will silence LGD right here at point A, and they take the lead in the series. It looks like LGD is going to try and stagger on, but that trickle is just not going to work out. Overtime ticking down, and T1w, they finally do it. They have the lead, and it's now 2-1. They are one map away from taking the series.
This seems like one... T1w takes advantage. So great job from T1w. Both of these teams didn't look the cleanest. There were some issues with both of their offenses and defenses. Micha making up a little bit for that Graviton that he threw in that first round. But when you take those long fights, especially as a quad DPS composition, you need to make sure you're getting those kills. And unfortunately for LGD, they didn't.
Yeah, and not only that, they've now set themselves back. They've put T1w in the position to take this series. So LGD, it was their fight to lose. It was their map to lose, and they did. So now T1w are going to really strike when the iron's hot. They smell blood in the water. They're going to try and feast. T1w now up 2-1. When we come back, the potential finish of this set, can T1w clean things up at 3-1, or can LGD force a map 5? We'll find out on the other side of this break. Don't go anywhere. Thanks for sticking with us, everybody. Welcome back to Overwatch Contenders China, Season 1, 2019. I'm still Rapture, he's still Kenobi, and it is time for map number 4. It will be Watchpoint Gibraltar, and currently T1w is up 2-1 against LGD. LGD had a good start, winning the first map, Nepal, 2-1, and they had a lead 1-0, but then T1w has brought it back. They won on Blizzard World, they won on Volskaya, and now it's time for Gibraltar. Kenobi, can T1w wrap things up here, or do you think LGD is going to bring us to a map 5?
I'm interested to see how T1w is going to play this map. It looks like they've brought an Assassin, which is I'm expecting to happen since this is a Widow-heavy map, and Misha doesn't really have a Widow in his back pocket, so they're bringing back Assassin, who is their hit scan specialist, and double sniper is what I would expect here from T1w, especially with a lot of these long sightlines that you get on Gibraltar. It is just double sniper playground right here with the high ground, with the sightlines like I mentioned, and LGD sticking to what they're tried and true with, sticking to this Ghost composition, but having the Winston instead so you can dive up onto the high ground and try and contest the snipers.
Yeah, this is why we were excited to see Gibraltar a little bit, because we knew some snipers would come out. It's been a while since Molenron's really been able to go on Hanzo at all. Assassin throwing out that Widowmaker like we saw on Nepal earlier, but LGD, surprisingly enough, they're the ones that are staying just full goats here, but I guess on defense that does make a good amount of sense. T1w playing very aggressively here. They want to take control of that high ground as much as possible, and they force LGD over to the server room. They're going to make that rotation. T1w going to just prey on them from above and wait for LGD to poke, but LGD really doesn't have the opportunity to do so. And once they do, Rookie does go down. Hybe also gets the kill on the Tanjo. 6v4 situation here for T1w, and LGD can get slaughtered unless they can do something about it.
The
Secret. Wow, the support. Okay, so not only do they get both support kills, but they also they lose the point. T1w just walks it right in.
I mean, I was going to say throughout that entire fight beforehand that the cart was pushing that entire time, and LGD were just so scared that they all in onto the supports onto the high ground, and then there's no one on the cart. Silver 3 just walks it in by himself, back caps it, and now T1w have a very good time back going into the second point and have a couple of ultimates to their name. They're going to have to watch out for Wanley's Graviton here, but they have the Transcendence to deal with it.
Oh, and Molenron's Dragon does catch Tancho as they try to get out of dodge here. Hybe going super aggressive, using that self-destruct to get them back into the fight. I think they're just trying to play aggro to get into position for a kill as well, but they don't find one. And now Rookie has a self-destructor there, and they do find the Hanzo. Has to force back here and take a ton of damage. Rookie going down to like 1 HP and just barely getting demeched in time. The Transcendence will come out here from Waya for T1w, bolstering up those players from T1w as they look for kills, and Hybe and Silver 3 will get them. 4 minutes and change on the clock, and LGD again shut down. And
it's such a treat to see Molenron going back to Hanzo. Usually he's the Brigitte player when he's in the GOATS composition, but now he's starting to flex his DPS muscles, and for the last couple of seasons he's just been on Brigitte for most of the time, maybe swaps over to Sombra a little bit, but now on that Hanzo can put his carry pants on. Here's the Graviton, it gets Hybe singled out, and he's going to go down.
And Rookie will get the DMAC onto Hybe, unable to get out of there. Hybe doesn't get killed, though, immediately. Now, Wanli going pretty low, lower than 100 HP, has to hide in the corner for the time being. Illusion staying very, very hard to hit here, looking to keep that Winston alive as long as possible, and will do so. Silver 3 gets topped off there. Now here's another Dragon cutting through the middle of the map and catches LGD on the high ground. Yeah, great job forcing out the Transcendence there from Secret, and also forces LGD off the high ground. But now LGD can take the opportunity to be the aggressor this time. And as they do, T1w sees it coming, throws out the self-destruct, forcing LGD to get to cover, and they do just in time. Now Rookie with the self-destruct ready to go. Hybe finds Tanjo before the fight continued to go, though. Now 65 situation here for T1w. LGD only has the self-destruct to work with it again.
Ooh, barely. Oh.
No one goes and touches it, but I don't think it's going to be enough. As Molenron with another Dragon to keep LGD off the point. Rookie can barely touch it. Kaneki can barely touch it. T1w looking to clean up these kills, finish this up. Here's a self-destruct, but it's Silver 3 who gets the melee kill on a Kaneki. T1w is still having trouble getting rid of LGD, but LGD is really barely touching the point. Eventually, it's going to go the way of T1w. Yeah, an Assassin just puts it, signs it on the dotted line, crosses off those T's, dots those I's, and gets that final kill to secure it for T1w.
And this is such a treat, really, to see this double sniper composition from T1w. Molenron is farming Dragon Strike basically every single fight. Seems like he has 2 at a time, and Assassin really showing his stuff on Widowmaker. Last season, we didn't see him that much because the Doomfist GOATS comp was so strong, and they would just have Misha in, but now he's able to play Widow. He's able to pop off. LGD is doing a great job of T1w is doing a great job of keeping him alive, and now Wanli has switched over to the Widow himself to try and take Assassin in the 1v1.
And I would say, arguably, this is one of the most effective ways for an offensive Widowmaker. One of the more effective places to be on this map, whereas on defense, it can be hard for Widowmaker to get those sight lines there. Assassin did go down, but it's just one kill. So
he forced out Trance again.
Wow, yeah, mulling around with these dragons, not only getting kills, but forcing out Transcendences. I don't even think Secret really needed to use theirs there. And Tanchio waiting it to self-destruct out here. Now I'm going to look for Assassin. Assassin falls back, but Silver 3 in the meantime finds Wanli. Tanchio really can't keep up with Silver 3's counterpart aggression on their own Widowmaker. Now LGD really just trying to keep at least one player on the point. They don't want to get C-Knight again. And T1w really just trying to push the envelope here. They have 2 kills down on the board. They have Assassin who's just doing unmitigated damage almost this whole time here. Tanchio's nowhere to be found because they're down in the graveyard. And that means the rest of T1w can continue to push up here. Kenobi, can LGD touch in time?
They're going to have one last chance. Tanchio is down. He is just respawning, so he is going to have the Primal to be available to try and contest this point. There's the self-destruct as well. So LGD definitely can hold here, and the health bars on T1w are very low. The Transcendence is there, though. Assassin is getting pummeled, though, by the Gorilla Arms of Tanchio.
Illusion just doing so much healing. LGD has so much to worry about. They really can't focus on getting rid of a Valkyrie Mercy here. T1w now throwing everything down, hitting Q as often as they can. Illusion, almost an opportunity to get up at Zenyatta. That's much more to worry about here because Rookie comes out with the Bastion, starting to mow down T1w, but doesn't have too great of a sightline here. Will back up just in time, almost gets their head cut off.
Bunny Blaster!
Will clip them off. Secret will find the kill on the Hy-Vee, gets revenge for their Bastion, and T1w will start to simmer, and they will eventually kind of fade out here a little bit on this offensive push. Kenobi, 1 minute and 41 seconds on the clock as that payload starts to roll back.
But the point that the payload is in right now, Assassin's going to have free sightlines, and really LGD cannot get to him in the point that he's at right now. He's going to have so many just free shots onto this team. It's really just up to the shielding from Tanchio and from Kaneki on that Brigitte to try and do as much as they can, but unfortunately it might not even be enough.
Oh, Waya finds Secret, so LGD losing pretty much their biggest damage dealer here.
Nice
and
shot.
then they lose Wanli, their second biggest damage dealer. This is T1w's opportunity to end the fight right here, right now. Silver 3 finds Sancho, 6v3 situation here for T1w, and Assassin literally can shoot for free. It's a shooting gallery out here for Assassin. T1w finds the kills. Here's a self-destruct on the point as well as a Dragon. Hy-Vee finds Hayukin, and that should really be enough. It's just the Hammond that's going to be there to contest. Tanchio now trying to jump up on
shooting gallery.
And yeah, Assassin really just shooting fish in a barrel right here. 0.17 meters to go, and there it is. T1w will complete the map, and now all they have to do is hold off LGD to win this series 3-1.
And I think one of the things that can't be understated here is how good T1w was at forcing support ultimates in those, with this composition in these couple of fights that they were having. You saw, Silver 3 was going into the backline, forcing out Sound Barrier just by himself on a Primal. You saw Eren at least twice force out Transcendence by himself with a Dragon Strike that he just throws to the wind. So they did a really good job of making sure the supports of LGD were just uncomfortable. T1w having a great showing there with that double sniper composition. It works to their advantage, and with 46 seconds left, that's a relatively nice time bank. And here, I don't know what we expect from LGD. Will LGD try and take the 1v1? We saw Wanli come out on Widow, but Wanli really wasn't able to go up to the task with Assassin. And again, like I said before, it's really nice to see Assassin and Eren in the lineup playing these DPS we saw Eren for the last couple of seasons was really just a Brigitte player, and Assassin was relegated to the bench because of how good Doomfist was and how good Micha was. And now we're seeing them come out on these heroes. Eren going back to his trusty Sombra, one of the best Sombras in the league, and Assassin bringing out the Ashe. China actually seems to really like Ashe. Micha played it a little bit last season for T1w, and with this composition, they're going to have a lot of bunker and a lot of, damage potential with the picks, and you're also going to have Eren who's just going to be in the back trying to get those hacks on.
And we were talking about this before the caster Kenobi, but Assassin going to Ashe. Ashe really hasn't had too much of an opportunity to really show what she can do in Contenders, really, especially in Chinese Contenders. We saw a little bit of Ashe in the playoffs last season. This is the first time, of course, that we're seeing Ashe at all here in Contenders for Season 1 2019. Assassin's going to be the first one to do it. Let's see how effective it is. From what I remember, it wasn't very effective when we saw Ashe in playoffs last time, and Ashe really is such a niche pick here. I'm not entirely sure what we're going to see. Mulleron now going to a Junkrat. T1w really playing a very interesting strat here, looking for a lot of spam long-range damage. picks.
So this is just a full composition, full bunker composition with a lot of shield break here. You have the Junkrat. You also have Assassin who can get the dynamite behind the shields and just do a lot of poke damage. And really, Assassin here is going to be looking up to farm towards that Bob. If he gets Bob, that's the best case scenario for them. You get that big Bob in there, another just beefy health line, and then you can also get the damage in as well. And it looks like LGD is going to do the perfect thing here, rotate to the high ground and try and get a kill. But Hoyo-chan is down. That's a huge pick.
Oh, Moonran, just the king of projectiles here in Chinese Contenders. Again, getting a kill on the board there, really the first one to do so. And Junkrat and Gibraltar, just so much geometry to ricochet things off of here. Silver 3 finds a kill on the Tancho. Really having a struggling against the front line, main line of T1w throughout the series. And LGD continually losing this tank kind of early in these fights, giving T1w a window of an opportunity to hold on strong. And look at this. I mean, really barely a fight has gotten on here, Kenobi, and LGD has already lost over just about a minute and 30 seconds on the clock, and they really haven't gone very far at all with this card.
And they keep trying to take this high ground rotation here, but that's just a dream for the Junkrat, just pumping out those grenades into that hallway, doing a lot of damage. And now Assassin does have the Bob finally. Wanli is down. They're going to move to the high ground and try and just play aggressive here and try and get a couple of picks. Unfortunately, now for LGD, they're going to have to reset. And with 2 minutes left in the ultimates that T1w have gotten in these last couple of fights, it's going to be very hard for them to get onto this point.
I think folks might be getting a 2-minute warning here because T1w might be ending things right here, right now. They are hiding behind that Orisa shield. They have all that damage from Moonran, who's been on point. They have Assassin, who has the Bob, and really, Assassin fills in the gaps that Moonran isn't able to cover with all that damage. Eventually, there are going to be gaps, and Assassin doing a great job cleaning up where Moonran gets so much damage done, tenderizing the members of LGD. And there's a Transcendence coming down, a Graviton thrown as well off screen somewhere. We'll get some pressure thrown on LGD, but no kills. And now looking for, on T1w, but no kills. Now Kenobi finds the right click on the Hy-Vee. Moonran has the Q ready to go, backing up a little bit, looking for the opportunity to use it, but has a Gorilla to worry about first. There comes the Riptire, burning some rubber, getting onto the payload, but will commit to killing Wan Li. T1w now reducing LGD to a minute and 10 seconds on the clock, but LGD finding a way out, has Tancho and Kenobi with some kills. Tancho getting the half HP, but now it's going to be the Hammond that's going to take a lot of the attention away from LGD. T1w trying to push him off the point, almost getting C9 there, 0.53 meters remaining. LGD looks to have the advantage, but they got to get rid of this Hammond. Will swing around, but will get cut down eventually. Rookie finds Hy-Vee, and there it is. LGD will not be shut down by T1w. They have some time on the clock, Kenobi, and now 2 seconds to go.
And LGD there, Tancho specifically, walking the tightrope with death there, was very, very low, but decided to go in and try and get a pick. He got the pick, and he got enough charge that was able to give him Primal, and that way he was able to survive. And now they're going back T1w to this double sniper composition. They're keeping Assassin here on the Ashe. They do have Bob available to them, but I'm not sure if they would just forego this for maybe a Widow. No, it's a different Bob.
Okay, so a different Bob gets used, and look at Bob go right up there. Precariously positioned on that crate, so now not doing anything at all. There we go, he's finally gonna dip out. Illusion gets the res onto Moonran, and T1w looking for a comfort zone here to try and get rid of LGD and stop this push, but so far LGD not giving up any space. They're going to continue to be aggressive and push T1w off the high ground, and because Assassin's down, they know there's less damage output, and really only the Hanzo they have to worry about, maybe Waya. And they get rid of the Hanzo, there we go. So T1w, their damage out, their best damage outputters are going down one by one with the help of Wan Li, is literally just picking them off left and right. Then Rookie gets a kill into Illusion. T1w getting routed, and LGD looking to pick up the second segment pretty quickly here, Kenobi.
And it looks like T1w are going to make some swaps. Molar are actually going to go to the Genji now. Actually, he just falls off the side. I don't know if that will stick. I expect him to go probably towards the Brigade to here if they're making the swap towards the full Goats composition here. And against this comp that LGD is running with the Winston, I think having a Reinhardt is a good idea. There's not really high ground too much to play around on this third point, so a lot of the fights are on the ground. So I think having the Reinhardt here is a good idea. I'm not sure if Tancho will go and swap. He does have the Primal available to him, so he might just wait to use that. They have 3 minutes to work with. If they can use the Primal to some effectiveness, they'll be able to push this to the third point.
LGD about to hit an ult apocalypse here. They're about to have 6 ultimates ready to go, way ahead of T1w. There's a Graviton behind the shield of Silver 3. Yeah, Kobe for sure, up against the backboard. Wan Li finds the kill on the Assassin, and Rookie combos off the Graviton with the self-destruct, finds Silver 3. Tancho, in the meantime, anybody who got away from that Graviton is getting hit into this Primal Rage, and Waya is going to be one of those. Wanli steals the kill from Tancho, and now T1w scrambling to put a defense together. They're holding on to the last second before they push on, and so finally they have the Reinhardt and the D.Va ready to go. There's a desperation self-destruct, and it's going to be a sound barrier from Hyokan to keep them alive against that self-destruct. Now Wanli again on the board, looking like Nietzsche from last round, killing Silver 3 yet again. Rookie looking for a way to get a self-destruct quickly. Kenobi, though, it does get the DMAC onto High-B. Transcendence again coming out from LGD. It's going to be secret.
Kenobi's
and then gets the kill onto High-B. Yeah, Kenobi goes down, but so does High-B. Now T1w, they're going to be sucked up there. And now it's going to be LGD sucked up as well. Assassin, I think, right-clicked themselves against somebody and died. Mole on run. Now
LGD's so low.
Assassin goes down. LGD and T1w are scrambled into the point, and they got knocked off. I couldn't keep their heads on their shoulders. Look at that. T1w was in control of the kill feed and still couldn't stop LGD from shuffling them and bullying them off the point and getting the capture.
T1w completely had that in their hands with the health bars that you saw from LGD. LGD was incredibly low. They had some really not the greatest target selection coming out from the trickles coming out from T1w, and a really very clutch boof coming out from Hoyo-chan. He boofs Mo and Eren off the point. They're able to push just a little bit farther, and they are able to secure that third point with some time to spare as well. They have 2 minutes and 10 seconds, whereas T1w only have the minute, so a little bit more time, probably 1 or 2 fights if you're putting it into perspective. But man, LGD looking a lot better on that defense, on that offense rather than they looked on defense.
Yeah, I think what was the rhyme I was saying? I think last season it was something like crazy comps and Hammond mines, huge throws and C9s. That's Chinese contenders right there.
There you go. I think that's what it was.
Crazy, something like that. And this is, I mean, if you want to get some fun Overwatch, you got to wake up at 5 a.m. to do so sometimes, folks. And that's the cost of doing business. You get what you want. You got to put in what you want to get out. You got some crazy stuff. You got to do some crazy stuff to get those compositions. I love seeing this kind of play. And now it's really kind of crazy between these two teams. LGD again, finally putting their foot on the pedal here and trying to take away a win here from T1w.
So T1w is going to be running this double sniper composition again, and we'll see if LGD has adapted to it a little bit more than last time. Tanchio was going in a little bit too over-aggressive sometimes, not with Zarya bubble available to him or armored pack, as you see. Going in right now on Assassin, the bubble is gone. He is able to get out, and Tanchio is already dead. You can't be doing that, my man, without the resources available to you.
Yeah, and already a huge fight here right before the payload really gets going anywhere. And LGD taking it away from T1w, using their tank line to bully T1w up against this wall and get a ton of kills to help with their D.Va's shoulder checking off and with their jetpack boosters. Wanli just doing a ton of work. I think Wanli might be the MVP of this game so far. LGD is really paying, so much of what Wanli is doing is paying off in this. And now T1w struggling to get out of the spawn. They have 10 seconds to do it.
Yeah, and while I didn't really like Tanchio going in that deep by himself, the rest of LGD made up for it by flanking around and killing the rest of T1w just by themselves as a 5-man. And now they do have the high ground control, so Rookie is going to be pumping out some enormous damage onto this team. It looks like Tanchio has dropped onto the high ground to try and get some cleave damage, but he needs to get out very quickly or else he might get blown out.
And T1w also has the enemy of time against them as they have a ultimate deficit in terms of charge, but they do take out Tancho before they get down to this lower part with the payload. And now Waya on the Moira, over half ultimate charge here. Overtime taken away. T1w has caught up in ultimates. Tancho now gets back into the fight, changing over to the Reinhardt. Kaneki throws, I believe, changing over now to the Bree. Trying to make some changes here. Overtime taken away. T1w wants to get to this segment at least. And LGD giving him some room to work with. Now they finally jump down behind the shield of Yancho, gonna push up aggressively. High-B has the self-destruct to keep themselves in this fight or be aggressive with it, but have to be careful. High-B is getting super low. Might be damaged before they're really able to use it. There we go. High-B realizing they might be damaged before they're gonna use the self-destruct. Use it. Both teams use their self-destruct. Neither of them get kills thanks to Transcendence coming out here. And sound barriers.
Big shatter!
Hitting Qs, but it's a huge shatter there coming up from Tancho. LGD might be able to seal the deal here. T1w getting hit, getting clobbered by the right clips of Kaneki. The overtime still ticking away. Hyokan gets the DMAC onto High-B. Someone has to touch the point, but I don't think T1w's there to do so. Silver 3 has no shatter, but they're not going to be there, and LGD has tied things up. We are going to a Game 5.
Well, not just yet, Rapture. They are going to have an offense here for LGD. Yeah, we'll reel it back just a little bit. They do have 2 minutes and 10 seconds available.
I've shown my bias.
They do have 2 minutes and 10 seconds available, and there Tanchio really makes up for a lot of the issues that they had in the first couple of fights. Tanchio was going in by himself on Winston, very deep, getting killed at the start of every single fight, but there comes back on the Reinhardt, farms up Shatter very, very quickly, and then is able to hit a monster one to kill the entirety of T1w. And now 2 minutes and 10 seconds for the side of LGD just to bring it to basically the first point. Very doable for them.
Yeah, I'm gonna reel it back. I'm gonna take a big step back. You're right. Yes.
I know we want the map 5 because it's like it'd be like a repeat of next. You know, they went to map 5 as well, and LGD That's here. Right. I don't think this composition sticks. If it does, I will be incredibly surprised. But there is something to be said about just using a pirate ship. It takes a lot of time off the clock. T1w can't really run at you without the risk of just getting blown up completely and giving a lot of ult chargement over to LGD. So it's gonna be interesting to see how these two teams play around it. I don't think again LGD is gonna stick to this comp. They're just gonna go back to their, you know, when in doubt, goats it out, like I always say. And it's gonna be goats v goats matchup here, Rapture.
And you can see how serious T1w is taking it. They're not messing around. They're going right back to goats. They know that this, like, LGD could seriously beat us here. Do the former champions, do they want to start their season off with a loss? I don't think so. LGD is trying to make that happen, and they have 2 minutes and 5 seconds to just get through a third of the map. Not even a third of the map here. We'll see. Will T1w be as aggressive? No, they won't. LGD, they're again being the aggressors. LGD having no problem just shoving themselves right into the face of T1w and using Wan Lee to get some backline leverage. Now, High B realizing that also goes in the high ground, but now they're 2v1 as Wan Lee gets some help. Rookie finds the kill on Tawaya. 6v4 situation here for LGD, and T1w scrambling yet again. Wan Lee now just getting closer and closer to self-destruct. We know Wan Lee has been at least effective with some spacing self-destruct, but Kenobi, LGD looking really good with a minute 30 seconds on the clock. That
was so aggressive from T1w. Eren drops, and they're forced to use a lot of cooldowns to keep him alive. Cooldowns that Silver 3 can't have. They use the bubble on the Eren to keep him alive since he's so over-aggressive, and then they don't have it for Silver 3, who goes down almost immediately. And when the Reinhardt goes down, that's pretty much donezo for a team fight, and Ghost v Ghost. Silver 3 is already still just half health. He's getting pummeled right now. Discord is permanently on him. This is brutal for T1w, and he goes down.
Yeah, and just at the same time, Kaneki got rally as well, so now LGD can push that.
Oh my god, Tanchio.
A big Tanchio earth shatter that is, and it will be the end of T1w there. I think that certainly was it. There's no way they can survive. And LGD now, okay. Now
we're
going to a game.
There we go.
LGD, T1w. Honestly, I don't know how many could have really called this. I mean, going into this game, Kenobi, T1w wanted to prove that they hadn't missed a step in the offseason, and they might have missed several steps here. LGD trying to get a good start to the season, and this could be the best possible start that they could have. This is absolutely insane. Kenobi, we're going to a map 5.
Yeah, and again, though, this is the team that is supposedly T1w's kryptonite. Last season, I talked about it. The one team that beat them in next to end their win streak that was going basically for almost 35 maps. They were able to beat them, and now we're going to a game 5 with LGD. They seem to be the king of game 5s in Chinese contenders. They had a couple of them last season as well, and they didn't win them necessarily, but this time it looks like a different team, and T1w have to make some decisions. Do we bring Micha back in for this last map, or do we keep on Assassin and see what he can do? Assassin hasn't looked the cleanest on the Zarya as well, and unfortunately some miscommunication errors and some over-aggression from T1w really cost them in that last map on Gibraltar, and LGD was able to capitalize very well on it.
Yeah, I think bringing in Micha might be the move we've seen. I mean, remember going back to like Blizzard World and Volskaya, Micha was the linchpin player for T1w. I mean, making Zarya look like Doomfist, really. The crazy amount of charge, being ahead of the Graviton game every time might be the difference maker if they bring him back in for map 5. We'll see though, Kenobi. We have one more short break, and when we come back, the 5th and final map for the first of 3 sets here today for Overwatch Contenders China Season 1, 2019, Week 1, Day 1. Don't go anywhere. More Overwatch Contenders China coming your way after this break. We're back, folks, for the 5th and final map of our first set of the day. It is T1w and LGD going into Lijiang Tower 2-2, tied up in this series. As we start off our first match here of Contenders China Season 1 2019, I'm Rapture, still here with Kenobi. LGD and T1w, both of these teams got a lot to prove, and they got to do it right here, right now in Lijiang Tower.
And what a way to start off the season of Chinese Contenders with two of the best teams in the league going to a map 5, and T1w bring out this very interesting composition with the Roadhog and the Hammond, along with the Sombra and the Ash. Not a combination we see too much of already, and LGD have control of the point right now. T1w is going to try and take it back, and Wanli is going to be relatively uncontested unless Micha can hit his shots.
Yeah, Chinese Contenders might have a little bit of goats, but he also got a little bit of juice, a little bit of spice. Yeah, you're right. Making these really weird, not weird, but I mean, this makes sense, right? Obviously, high B on the Roadhog, you have a little bit of that environmental play to work with here. A lot of open room to land these hooks. Both teams running Sombras. You have Secret on the Ana. You have Silver 3 on the Hammond. This is Chinese Contenders. If this is new to you folks, it really shouldn't be, because this is what this region is all about, trying to find the solution until you eventually go back to the meta composition, which is what LGD is doing. They're going back over to goats after they lose that first point to T1w.
But this makes sense, though, for LGD, and the fact that this composition from T1w, it's very easy to just roll over. You know, Ash wants to have a lot of these long sight lines, but if you're on goats, and you're on Reinhardt goats specifically, you can just run at him. But unfortunately, Micha does have the Bob right now, something they haven't accounted for just yet. And Silver 3 gets a huge pile driver with the EMP combo. That was beautifully and calculated play coming out from T1w, and Micha pops off and cleans up the rest of the fight.
Yeah, honestly, I think the timing there was frame perfect. The pile driver and the EMP literally hit at the exact same time there, and now T1w, I'm making it look easy. They're just stretching LGD thin like some Laffy Taffy, and now at 58, 59% here for T1w. Not only they have control of the point, but they're forcing LGD to make those character changes, and they have a huge ultimate economy advantage here, 5-1.
And they have 1 or 2 fights left. The minefield comes out, doesn't really get the value it needs, but that's a big nade there to keep everyone alive for the side of LGD. Secret hasn't used this nano yet. He's going to have to use it soon. And again, 77% here. This is last fight territory for LGD. If they lose this fight, they lose the map.
And that could pretty much lose them the series there with T1w. They have a lot of momentum coming into this. There's a big biotic grenade from Secret, though, and now there's the Ana boost coming out onto Rookie, trying to force T1w off the point. LGD trying to steal a point here, but Silver 3 and Micha say no. LGD really doesn't have a response to Silver 3, who can just show up in the blink of an eye and get a kill, and Micha gets 2 as well. Now Rookie being just thrown down towards the end of the fight. Graviton comes out, but there's no one there to clean things up, and T1w 100-0, looking as clean as they ever have. Honestly, I think LGD might have hit the end of their thread here. T1w looking to clean things up.
And Micha looking so good on Ash in that last map. We talked about it before. He's the player to look out for. Is he going to look as comfortable on something else like he did on Doomfist, where he had this solo carry potential? Comes out on Ash, plays extremely well, hits a nice couple of shots, farms 2 Bobs in that last team fight, was hitting some really good dynamites as well to force out cooldowns coming out from LGD. And now going on to Night Market, T1w looks like they're going to stick to what they played a lot of last season towards this ghost composition. I expect the same from LGD.
And really, this is what makes T1w so deadly, is that they can not only run the best comp, in the meta right now, but they can also run these abstract compositions that LGD and other teams really might not be ready for on the fly. I mean, LGD, did they expect a Roadhog necessarily to stay that entire round? I'm not entirely sure. Along with the Hammond and the Sombra, it's really something you never really see. It's very unorthodox. So T1w able to change and adapt on the fly is something that other teams really can't handle. Now T1w showing their strength on the other side of the coin, the other side of the spectrum, throwing down that GOATS composition and going to show LGD that they're better at this composition too. And not only that, they're going to try and get this first capture, but it looks like T1w is going to let LGD just stay off the point. They're going to walk right on. And just like LGD's been doing, taking the first point, T1w just very easily walks on, gets that point, and now going to take the fight to outside the point. Micha, as we've seen, being the aggressor, finds Kaneki, isolates them, finds Tancho, isolates them, has a ton of charge to boot, and look at that, Micha is over halfway to a Graviton here. Another kill, 3-piece for Micha, continues to push forward, 97 charge, LGD has nowhere to run. He is Freddy Krueger, the nightmare in their dreams right here, and T1w just absolutely profiting from Micha's play on Zarya.
And I really like how aggressive T1w was in that last fight. They see Kaneki is out of position and being a little bit over-aggressive. They pounce on him immediately, losing that Brigitte. And now Kaneki's going to use the rally to try and go into this next fight. There is the Graviton here from LGD. Michi's not close to his yet.
Wow, that was such a great Earth Shatter, though. Silver 3 keeping LGD at bay as all of T1w was caught in that Graviton, and then Silver 3 gets the charge kill there. And Mitre was even getting kills from staying stationary in that Graviton. That was great. Molanron had the Bree rally that used that as well. Silver 3 gets killed. Natancio, Wan Li trying to get up out of dodge to stay alive as long as possible. They need to get that self-destruct. But at this point, LGD's kind of floundering here. I think this might be it. A very somber and quiet victory to what has been a pretty back and forth series. T1w just looks so far ahead here. LGD has no way to get in.
And LGD is in the ultimate hole if you've ever seen it right now. T1w has so many ultimates available in this next fight. They aren't going to have anything besides Hoyo-chan's sound barrier to try and deal with this grab from Mitre. It has to be Wan Li who eats this, or else it's going to be a disaster. He doesn't even get to.
Oh, and here's the combination, the 1-2 the self-destruct off of the Graviton, and High B connects the kill on Natancio as Silver 3 finds Rookie. So Rookie couldn't throw down a shield because they were getting hit by that pin. And T1w at 90%, they're ready to just eat this up and wipe their hands and step out the restaurant without even paying. LGD just has really nothing to do here. Wan Li trying to desperately throw a self-destruct onto the point. All they do is lose their lives. Mitre finds the kill. A self-destruct just for an Earth Shatter just for good measure from Silver 3 to silence LGD. But LGD finds them all on a Graviton against the wall. But T1w weathers the storm. They get right through it. Transcendence comes on from Wyatt. It's certainly not enough. That's a GG right there, folks. T1w gonna hold off against LGD and take this last snap 2-0 as LGD staggers on. That's it. That's all she wrote. And T1w has done it. They take the series 3-2, and they have the first win here in Overwatch Contenders China Season 1 2019. It was a bumpy ride, but T1w got to their destination.
And T1w get their revenge and are saved some blushes a little bit coming in as the defending champions. You never want to start with a loss. They are able to take down LGD in this map 5. Really, really exceptional play coming out from Mitre. I'm incredibly impressed with how good he looks on the Zarya, as well as how good he looks on the Ashe that we saw on that first map of Lijiang. That's not really a place where you see Ashe too much, but he played it extremely well with the rest of his team, was getting a lot of headshots, farming Bob, which is something that Chinese Ashes have had a little bit of a trouble with, was able to farm 2 in that entire round. So great play from Mitre, and I think as the player to watch and as the player who we talked about consistently is, can he do something on something that's not Doomfist? Can he be comfortable? Can he look decent? And today he looks much more than decent. And I think when you want to play Ashe or you want to play Zarya, I think it's clear now that you stick with Mitre, you keep Assassin in for the Widow maps and stuff like that. But I think Mitre has definitely cemented himself as being one of the starters if you're going to be playing GOATs.
Absolutely. Mitre, I think, definitely needs to be played as often as possible. Certainly a star player on T1w. T1w, best team in the region, probably still. They get their first win, but they've shown they have some weaknesses. They already have some chinks in the armor. They already have some shots in here. And LGD, now they're looking better than probably anyone expected. They got to keep their heads held up high here because they took 2 maps off of a team that only lost 1 map last season and none in the regular season. A great start for LGD. T1w, a lot to think about. We have 2 more sets to go here. Don't go anywhere. The next set up, I believe it is Team 4 Victory versus their opponents, Lingon Esports Huya. Yes.
The Chengdu Academy team.
Yeah, Chengdu Academy team coming up soon. Don't go anywhere. More Overwatch Contenders China Season 1 2019 coming your way.